Hey folks, welcome to another Music Lab tutorial. I've had a lot of questions for exporting tracks in various drummer virtual instruments like Easy Drummer or Studio Drummer or Superior Drummer. And I'm working at a Logic. I would imagine most of these techniques are going to be somewhat the same in each DAW. But I'm going to do a kind of a simple export out of Abbey Road Drummer, which is very similar to Studio Drummer from Native Instruments, and Easy Drummer works the same way for the most part. Anyway, we're going to open up an instance of Contact, and I'm going to load a Modern Drummer kit. We're going to go to our Grooves menu, and I'm going to select the 0-1/8 hi-hat closed pattern. Pretty simple beat. What we're going to do is, this little icon here is the MIDI file, and you want to drag that into your lane in Contact. Why don't we just kind of repeat that a few times? So we'll loop it if we need it looped. And I'm gonna join it together and make one file, and that's Command J for join. So what we want to do is we want to create separate tracks for all these elements. We got a kick drum, we got a open and closed hi-hat, and we got a snare. So we have 4 elements. And we're going to highlight this file, which is MIDI information. We're going to go to Edit, the Edit window, or the Edit menu, and we're going to go down to Separate MIDI Events. And we're going to separate them by note pitch. And bada bing, bada boom. We got what looks to be the snare on this track, the hi-hat on this track, and it looks like the kicks on this track. And it looks like we just have closed hi-hat. We don't have 4 elements. We only have 3. Now, if I hit solo, they all get soloed. So I'm going to do something here called configuring the header. So track header components, I want to turn the on-off switch. That way I can turn things off and on this way. Okay, so I'm going to keep this guy off because I don't see any real data on that. Let's turn this on, see what it is. Okay, so that's the kick. And we just want to print that kick, and so we can export it. So we're gonna print it as audio, and then we'll export it. So let's go to the virtual instrument, which is right here, and let's take a look at the mixer. And it looks like, so what we're printing is the kick drum, and then we're printing the overhead stereo mono overhead, the room stereo mono. So if we mute these guys, we're just getting the kick. Okay, nothing else. So we highlight the kick, and we go to File, and we bounce the region in place. And we'll call it the kick. And it bounced it in place. So there's your kick. Just the audio version of the kick in blue here. All right, so that's one down. This is the snare, I believe. Right. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to just print the snare. Now you got all this, you got all this EQ and compression down here if you want to do anything with that. So let's bounce that. Again, there's a region in place bounce, and we'll call this the snare. And now you got the snare bounced. And then here's the last guy, the hi-hat. Let's see what that looks like. And that's coming out of the hi-hat channel. So if you want to lift that up a little bit, might not be a bad idea, just to get a little more level. And that's also panned. You might want to put that in the center. I mean, all these things you can do, that'll affect the bounce. But then again, you don't have to do them. Okay, So let's bounce this region. And this will be the hat. And that's done. Okay, so let's get all the audio together. 1, 2, 3. 3 entities. And there you go. So that's an audio version of the same groove. And if you go to your mixer in Logic right here, you can see that the kick and the hat and the snare are all on separate tracks. So if you want to pan the hat, you can do that. You want to put compression on the snare, you can do that. You want to do a reverb send for all 3. Let's do that. Bus. Let's pick a bus 10, send it to a drum room. Option click the reverb send button. Over here you got a drum room. Let's use Altiverb. And we'll lift up the drum room. And if you don't want to have reverb on the kick, you pull the reverb down on the kick. So we want to export these files now. So we've got the kick. I can just export one. And we're going to highlight it. You can hit that Command U if you want. That sort of identifies the sound file, and that's Command U. And we're going to bounce that. So that's Command B. And we'll bounce it as a WAV file. You can bounce it to Dropbox. You can bounce it to your desktop or any kind of folder. I tend to bounce a lot of things to Dropbox. Here's my Dropbox here. If you get producers that you want to give it to, but let's just do it to the desktop for now. And we're going to call this, the kick. You obviously want to put the name of the project on it. And you bounce it to the desktop, and there's the kick for the producer on the other end, or the mixer, or whoever. All right, well, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you got something out of it. See you on the next one.